To build the first layer of a cake, it's actually really simple. So in order to assemble this cake thing, you're going to want to open it up with the latch out, and then make sure that this is going inside of this little rim here, just to keep it in place, and then you can close this handle. So I'm doing this with one hand. Okay. You only want to use combinations that we already have tags for, because we want to keep it consistent so that we don't have to print out more tags. So I'm going to start making that by filling this about halfway with ice cream scoops, and then I'll flatten it out and make a hole in the middle. Not like a hole, more like a crater, I would say, so that I can put a topping in the middle. So this is about halfway full of scoops, so I'm going to keep it there, and I'm going to flatten it out with a spade. Okay, now it's all flat with a spade. So I'm going to get my scooper and then use the back side to make a little bit of a hole in the middle. Okay, so now that I have my crater in the middle, I can put a topping in it. I also forgot to mention with the crater, or whatever you want to call it, you have to have about 1 inch from here to the hole in the middle, because you want to put as much topping in as possible. You also want the cake to retain its shape. We also tend to put the lighter color on the bottom of this, so that when we flip it over and we depan it, the lighter flavor is on top, so that the whipped cream covers it better. So with our dry choppings, like chocolate chips, you can just put it in. Make sure it's all even. But if you were going to put fudge in the middle, you would put some fudge into a pint cup. I would fill it about halfway up the pint cup, and then put that pint cup with fudge into the freezer for 30 minutes to an hour or so, even more if you like, and then you can put that inside of the cake. Yeah, so if you put that inside of the cake, it won't melt through, but if you try to put hot fudge inside of a cake, it'll just melt all of the ice cream. It'll be a total mess, and we'll have to remake the cake, and so you never, ever, ever want to do that. So always freeze the fudge, and then scoop out the cold fudge to put in the cake if you're filling the cake with fudge. So now I am going to get a cake flag, and on the side I'm going to write house vanilla, chips, and I hate chocolate. And on the other side I'm going to write retail, because it's a retail cake. But if it was a cake order, I would write the name of the order on this side, and then everything that's in it on this side. Now that I have my flag made, I'm going to put this in the freezer. To fill the top layer of the cake, just put as many scoops of ice cream as you can in the top, and then flatten it out with a spade. Now that I've filled it up, I'm going to flatten it out. You have to make sure it's very flat so that there's no bubble on the top, because otherwise when you depan it, it will be all lopsided. So it's been 2 hours, and I think this is ready. Looks pretty frozen to me. So what I'm going to do is I filled up this with some hot water from the mop sink. So that's what I'm going to use to depan it. So in this cabinet are all of the different things that you can put it on. So these ones are the ones for normal 6-inch cakes. These ones, just slightly bigger, are for the mini cone 6-inch cakes, and then these ones are for the 9-inch cakes. Also, if you are going to be doing a 12-inch cake or larger, you have these white cardboard pieces that you can depan it on. So you're going to want to write all the flavors and the type of cake that it is, retail cake for this one, on the back side of that. So what I'm going to do is dunk it in the water. The hot water takes like 6 seconds maybe, and then take it out, and then flip it over onto the golden sheet right here, and then unlatch it. Take this off, take the top off, and stick the flag back in. Then let this freeze. It doesn't have to freeze for long because it's already all frozen except for the outside, so I'd give it like 5 to 10 minutes to freeze. If you're making a cake larger than 6 inches, you just want to fill up one of the sinks with water and then depan it from there because it's bigger. So I'm gonna just throw a bunch of cake icing on top of the cake. Just go. It's kind of like a little mushroom hat. So I'm flattening it out a whole bunch, but still maintaining like at least half an inch of icing on top. So now I'm adding just like kind of clumps of icing and then spreading it out, kind of like peanut butter on toast, but sideways. So I'm just going to keep doing that for a while, and it doesn't have to be neat. People always think that it has to be very neat from the start, but the whole point is just putting a whole bunch on and then taking it off very slowly. Kind of like if you were doing like a marble sculpture, you'd want to start with a big piece of marble, you know? So just throw a whole bunch of stuff on the side and then spread it out. Kind of making sure that the edges are neat from like the pieces that you're spreading. Yeah, like I always go over it with a big swoop. Now I'm moving on to the top, so I'm just flattening out like the edges that came up from me putting it on the side and the top before. So now I'm getting a napkin and then going around the gold piece because it'll surely be covered in a bunch of whipped cream. So... But I haven't forgotten about those craters. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna fix those with just a little bit more icing, spreading it out so it's all together. See, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as the cake isn't showing through, like the ice cream, as long as the ice cream's not showing through, and it looks generally put together, it's good. Okay, so if you're going to do the top, like the decorating of a cake, you're just going to want to put dollops of buttercream or whipped cream around the side. And do the same around the bottom rim.